Hey guys, Forrest Proctor here. You're watching Assume Your Power, and today we're going to talk about how you identify what you want, but then let go of the outcome in order to actually get what you want. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so I have a personal story that has happened to me recently. It is the reason I'm sitting here in this hotel room. But before we get into the content of the video, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, epicfilmandphotography.com. You can go check them out at that website. They do commercials, documentaries, photography, anything digital capturing. They can help you out with that. So make sure you go check it out at epicfilmandphoto.com. Alright guys, so when I first got into the law of attraction and that we actually just participate in this 3D world, but we're actually spiritual beings, it's really exciting because you're like, oh my gosh, I can really take hold of my life and make the decisions that I want my life to play out as. So it's really, really exciting. And in the very beginning, I was able to manifest stuff and make things happen really quickly, which is awesome. And I can still sort of do that, or actually I can still do that. But what happens a lot of times is, when you get into it, you don't realize the intricacies of how all of this stuff works. And it's not something someone made up. I mean, this is like, you already know the law of attraction is real because of just your day-to-day life. If you're just not getting into this, you know that the energy you put out, or the effort you put into life, let's say that, is the results you're going to get back, right? That's kind of like the old saying, you get out of life what you put in. Well, that's the law of attraction, and it can get very specific. So it's really cool. You can control your life. But what I did when I first started on this journey was I was able to manifest stuff really quickly in the beginning because it was so fun, and I truly believed in what was happening, and it was happening. But what happens getting deeper into it is we kind of get complacent in our manifesting skills and just creating our reality, and we start letting thoughts of doubt creep in, which is sort of natural. So it's kind of unintuitive, but you have to sort of suppress that doubt. Okay, so that being said, the law of attraction states that what you think about will become reality, but it's a little more complicated than that. And I'll quote, I can't remember if it's Neville Goddard or Napoleon Hill or Earl Nightingale. I think it's Earl Nightingale, but he says, man becomes what he thinks about. And yes, that is true, but there's some nuance to that. Now let me explain. So actually focusing and meditating and being in that moment as if you already have it is just the identification phase. And then there's a very, very important phase that I think people don't realize when they first start out, and maybe they just discard the law of attraction completely after this, is you do not want to hyper focus on it, because what you're doing, let's just take an example, right? Let's say I want a new car, like my dream car. Let's say it's a 2015 Mustang, all decked out, Ford Mustang. Well, of course, I want to imagine that I already have that Mustang. I want to feel the key fob in my hand. I want to feel myself opening the door. I might even go to a used dealership and find the car and test drive it and all that good stuff. And it's basically just putting that out into the universe that this is something that you want, and you're already feeling that you already have it. Now, where you would go wrong in all of this is if you did all that and then literally that's all you thought about all the time, and you were questioning yourself, is it coming? Is it coming? Am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it? What if I don't get it? What if I don't get it? That's where the problem comes in, is when you think about something too hard that you want, you start also adding in the thoughts of lack and the option or the possibility that you will not get it, or you might not get it. And those thoughts cannot exist. And that's why, to me, it's better to just identify what you want, have some kind of mantra that you do. For me, it's I do my scripting and I do a little bit of meditation on it, and then I just let it go. And I respect the paradox in the way that if it comes, which it will come, so you got to be really specific. If it comes, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. there's more stuff coming. There's more stuff that I'm asking the universe for and working towards, so it's not that big a deal. So the key here, guys, is identifying what you want, meditating on it, scripting it maybe, and then letting it go. And the way that I like to think about identifying what you want is, I don't know if anybody out there has seen the movie The Secret. It's like a Bob Proctor movie. It's got a lot of other people in it, but I want to say Bob Proctor is like one of the producers or something. I can't remember the lady's name who wrote the actual book, but I've actually read it, so it's kind of embarrassing that I don't remember her name. But somebody in the comments, let me know her name. I cannot remember. She also has a pretty decent YouTube channel. She's Australian. But anyways, in that there's a guy, and I can't remember his name, but he refers to the law of attraction like ordering from a catalog, and that's sort of something that's always stuck with me. You know, when you order from a catalog, you don't order something, put it in the mail, like back in the day, before my time even, you know, you would put the little thing in the mail and the item would come back to you. Like something that comes to mind as a kid, my mom would order us backpacks from LL Bean and jackets and stuff. But anyways, you would put that little slip in the mail and the check, and it would come back to you, right? And you didn't sit around wondering if it was going to come back. You just trusted that it was because you ordered it, and you just kind of put it out of your mind, honestly. Unless it just never came, then you'd be like calling the company or whatever. But generally speaking, when you order something from Amazon, you don't dwell on the possibility of it not coming because you ordered it. You just assume it's coming. And so that's how I like to think of the law of attraction or the law of assumption. Whenever I place an order with the universe, I definitely want to put a lot of thought into it. I want to imagine that I already have it, and then I just let go. And 99.9% of the time it happens, and then I think that 0.1% there is a lot of explanation with it because I do have those little bitty thoughts of doubt, a fear that it's not going to happen, and that kind of just cancels my order. So it's definitely a skill that you have to work on over time, but yeah, you just gotta let go of it. And look, if it doesn't happen, trust that the universe has a purpose for that, or you know, you can say God, because I am a Christian, so to me it's all one and the same. But for the community's sake, most people just say the universe, so God is the universe. But just trust that there's a plan and there's a reason you didn't get it. Maybe you're getting it, just not right there in that moment. Okay guys, so I'm gonna give you a real life example that has happened to me recently, and it is the reason I'm actually sitting here in this hotel room. If you watch my channel at all, and I really appreciate you guys for subscribing because it's so funny, like I got this big jolt of excitement when I went from 3 subscribers to 6, because all I could think about was, I just doubled my subscribers. You know, most people would be like 6 subscribers, whatever, but to me it was like so exciting because I was like, I literally just doubled my subscribers. And it didn't matter that it was only 6. Like, I appreciate you 6 people out there, and hopefully by the time a lot of you are watching this video, there's a lot more than 6. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me and the 6, and us 7 are gonna have a great time. But anyways, if you watch this channel for any amount of time, and you go back and you watch my second video, I believe it was, the thumbnail was titled something like how I manifested $50,000 and I lost it. Well, I told in that video the story of when I got the email that the client was gonna go a different way and they were not gonna be signing a contract with me to actually make that revenue. I remember it very specifically. I was actually in my yard raking up grass. I had just mowed all my grass and it kind of gotten tall. So I was out there like really sweating in the Mississippi sun, and I was raking up the grass because if you leave the grass there, it'll kill the grass that's coming up underneath it, and it's just a big mess. So you kind of have to have a sweeper or a picker upper, and I was in the sun working my butt off, and I look at my phone and there's the email saying we're not going with your company. And normally, a lot of times in the past, even with a very small project like $1,500 or something, I would kind of get upset in my mind. Even if I didn't outwardly express it, I would kind of have a lot of doubt, and I would say, well, why didn't they pick me? Like, what's wrong with me? Did they not like the content? Like, what did I do wrong? Where, you know, and I had a lot of, and I would actually be kind of, not depressed, but I'd be kind of sad for a few hours and maybe even a whole day. But with this, I had started getting into the law of attraction. Actually, I'm about a year in at that point, but I sort of just took the information and let it go. And I said something that I took from Andrea Schulman, you know, shout out to Andrea, there's another contract coming. That's literally what I said. I said, okay, there's another contract coming. no big deal. And I just kept raking my grass and got done with that and just went about my day. And I actually remember telling my wife, she came out there and was about to go somewhere and was just chatting with me. And I said, hey, I got an email from that company and, you know, they're going a different direction. And she was, you know, I'm trying to get her sort of more versed in all this stuff, but she was like, oh man, that sucks. I said, no, it doesn't. She was like, why? I said, because it's getting out of the way for something bigger. And she kind of chuckled and smiled because she knows how I feel about all this stuff and she trusts me in that way. So yeah, I just put it on my mind. Well, let's fast forward 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks later, I'm actually on a video shoot in Pascagoula, Mississippi with one of my good friends, and I get a text from the owner of the company that said they were going another direction. And the owner said, and I can't say any of the names of these people or the company because I signed papers, but I got a text that, hey, can we hop on a phone call? So during the break of our shoot, we were shooting some interviews, I step outside and I take the phone call. Well, he, you know, he's very, very nice. He says, hey, thank you for coming and shooting with us. We really like the work. You know, we don't want you to think that, you know, we didn't like it or anything like that. Like, you were great. Everything was great. The price wasn't even crazy or anything. It was just, we're really looking for somebody that we can build a relationship with rather than do one project. And I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And, you know, no hard feelings. You know, if there's anything I can do for you guys to help, let me know. Because I'm all about helping people. It's not just about making money. Money is essential. Helping people is, you know, the prize, really. So he said, you know, that was a little too much just to do one project. Could we do this amount? And the amount he said, I'm not going to tell you what it is, was much more than the initial amount. Like much more, substantially more. And I kind of had to take a pause and I said, say what? you wanna pay me how much? He said, yeah, we want to pay you X amount more than you had proposed. And I was really confused. And he said, the only catch is we really want you to be with us kind of full time. Like whether that's a contractor, retainer, or you are on payroll and actually an employee, however we want to do it. But we want you to be our consistent cinematographer for the brand. And I was just kind of taken back by it. I was like, wow. So I went from losing this contract, traveling, right, to do a test shoot like 1,000 miles away, coming back, thinking everything went great, they love the video, getting rejected on the contract, letting it go immediately, 2.5 weeks later, getting this call, and now this guy is sending me an offer letter for an that's not the right word. Anyway, he's sending me a letter saying, hey, we want to pay you a lot more on a yearly basis to create our content. And so, yeah, I think it's a prime example of when you let go, maybe in your case or in another case, like when I let go, the same person doesn't come back. Maybe it's another, like I said, another contract's coming. But in this case, not only did it come back, but it was the exact same person that had rejected me before, not in a mean way, but, you know, had rejected me before, was coming back wanting to work with me. And fast forward another 2 weeks, we did a lot of negotiations and going back and forth, and now I'm creating their content full time and traveling the world doing it. So just to give you some perspective, like, you know, this week we're going to Colorado, the next week we're going to Yosemite, then we're going to the UK, and it's just like, what in the heck's going on? But yeah, basically, the thing I would say to you guys and encourage you to do is just let go. And I have a really hard time with this. In fact, I find myself in a lot of slumps because I'm like really focused on what I want and what I want to create. And then that's all I do. I zero in on it. I think the more I think about it, the better. And that can be true. But the problem is, the more you think about it, the more you open yourself up to those negative thoughts of lack and the thoughts that it could possibly not happen. So to me, it's better just to identify it, script it out if that's something you like to do, meditate on it. And, you know, the secret is the feeling, right? Neville Goddard. You really got to put yourself in that position of already having it, assuming you have it, and then just let go. Yep, took me too long to learn that, but I think this is a prime example of that. And I'm getting into a lot more stuff right now that I want to share with you guys. And look, I'm still learning. So there's a lot of channels out there where you can get like really good knowledge on this, and that's where I'm sourcing most of my stuff, plus books that I've been reading. But my channel is definitely a journey channel. Like, the person I was a year ago, the person I am now is drastically different, and I wish I would have been making videos back then so you could hear my stupid self and now hear me. But I'm continuing to grow, and I hope that all the stuff I'm learning and all the trial and error stuff that I'm going through is going to help you on your journey. And yeah, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comments. I really want to see some comments, because to me, that's like where it's at, right? I want to engage with people. I love people, and I love helping people. In fact, a lot of my friends that are subscribers that I know personally are seeing me out on the street, and they're like, dude, those videos are awesome. Like, I just did this and I just did that. And I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like, that's where it really is at, because to me, this knowledge was not shared with me as a young man, and I'm 30 years old. So the fact that I'm just getting it is what it is, but I'm giving it to some guys that I know that are like 20, and it's like, wow, like, if you'll grasp this and really run with it, it's going to change your life way sooner than it changed my life. So anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. Keep a lookout for other videos coming out, and do not forget to please assume your power.